want to pay it, sir, that's fine. Just have to have you picked up.
The calls are threatening unsuspecting people across the country. Pay this old debt or get thrown in jail.
I work with the Bethesda, Maryland Police Department, sir.
But that's not true. The calls aren't coming from cops in Maryland. Instead, we link them to this building in Buffalo, New York. With hidden cameras, we follow signs to an office with an official-sounding name, Final Claims Asset Locators. We're able to walk around inside for a few minutes and see one person after another working the phones. And we hear this snippet of conversation.
There's going to be a detainer, sir. Will you be brought to Maryland and face charges here?
It's the same kind of threat we heard on the phone down in Texas. She's talking as if she's with law enforcement.
What we'll do is we'll go ahead and have you picked up.
And her voice sounds awfully familiar, too.
Otherwise, we're going to have you picked up.
Looks like we're in the right place. And remember the so-called attorney named Andrew Brisky? Here's the same guy we've seen driving around in a car registered to Andrew Brisky.
This is Brisky. He just came in.
But what exactly is going on here? We watch the building and notice a pattern. Frequent trips across the street to this supermarket. And when we follow him in one day, it's clear he didn't come here to shop for groceries.
It's actually free.
He's here to collect cash at a Western Union counter.
Do you have more hundreds?
Could this be money wired from people who were tricked into thinking they were about to be arrested? People like the Texas couple who fled their home in fear.
I can't believe they made us run out of our own home like that.
Or Vicki Harrington, who got those threatening calls in the wake of her son's cancer treatment.
What gives you the right to impersonate an officer and threaten me?
We watch the cash come in. So we decide to follow the money and find out who's behind the company that calls itself Final Claims Asset Locators. We trace the firm to this man, Tobias Boyland, and find out his business seems to be operating under other names as well. And he appears to have another enterprise going. In this video posted on the web, Boyland goes by the nickname Bags of Money and apparently fancies himself some kind of showbiz entrepreneur.
I didn't realize so many beautiful women in the town really just want to do their thing. I'm going to have to create a vehicle for them to do their thing.
And check out this van, a company car emblazoned with the words Thug Motivation. Perhaps a fitting slogan when you consider that Boyland is a convicted felon. He and company co-founder Dorian Wills served time in prison for armed robbery before opening their debt collection business. That may seem surprising to you, but it's not to attorney John Fugate.
So there's nothing to check the background of somebody who wants to go out and buy large amounts of debt, which include people's very private financial information.
That's right. Anybody with two nickels to rub together can buy a debt portfolio and set up and start collecting the debts.
Boyland's operation is legally incorporated, and we obtained documents showing he's been in the debt-buying business for years. But Final Claims Asset Locators is not a member of the industry trade group. We wanted to learn more about Boyland. We track him to this house in a rundown Buffalo neighborhood.
Boyland's getting to his Hummer right now.
In the driveway, a shiny black Hummer, another company car. We follow him as he drives the Hummer around town on fall mornings and snowy winter days. He seems to have plenty of time on his hands. We watch him run errands, visit the dentist, eat lunch at a pancake house, and occasionally he stops by the office. Back at the house, we decide to pay him a visit and ask about his debt collection business.
You got a big, mean dog.
We hear people inside. But when we come knocking, no one answers the door. So we head over to corporate headquarters. We arrive to a busy office.
Hey, how are you? Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC. Nice to see you.
And the first person we approach is this man, Delian Sharp. He's a debt collection trainer for the operation.
I needed to talk to Mr. Brisky or Mr. Boyland.
We later understand why he might have left so quickly. At the time we shot this tape, Sharp was awaiting sentencing on federal charges of bank fraud, apparently unrelated to his job here. He was also facing state grand larceny charges.
Where did Mr. Sharp go? Is he around?
And that woman whose voice sounded so familiar on our previous visit,
We'll go ahead and have you picked up.
she covers her face and hurries away.
Do you know where Andrew Brisky is?
But some collectors man their stations, making their call.
Ma'am, do you know where Andrew Brisky is?
No one will say much or watch the video clips of our investigation we brought along.
I don't care what you got there. Either you need to leave the premises, sir, or we'll have the police.
And after a few minutes, we're asked to leave.
I'm sorry, who are you, sir?
None of your business. You want to move from the premises, sir?
I'm telling you that I think
I don't
somebody
care.
from this
I
company
really
is going to
don't
want
care.
to see this video.
I don't care, sir. Have a great day. Goodbye.
On the way out, we're told to contact the company attorney.
Well, who's the attorney then?
What do you have?
Downstairs in the lobby, a few collectors stop to look at our videotape, and up walks the so-called company attorney, Andrew Brisky.
You're Mr. Brisky.
But he doesn't acknowledge the name.
Who are you then?
I don't have to tell you anything.
And won't answer our questions.
But what I do want to know is about some of the tactics being used at this company. Where did you go to law school, Mr. Brisky?
Please go upstairs.
So you don't want to talk to me?
Apparently, we're not the only ones raising questions. We found out that New York and federal law enforcement officials, including the FBI, have been given detailed information on Boyland and Company. But so far, they're still in business. Police in Maryland, who are being used as a front by the group, aren't able to launch an investigation because the alleged crimes were not committed in their jurisdiction.
Bottom line is, I don't know that we are going to get them at all.
The debt collection trade group, which believes most collectors follow the law, says the industry is so vast it's virtually impossible to monitor each company.
We are trying to figure out ways to remove the bad actors.
You said you were an officer?
But after seeing footage of our investigation, she acknowledges that more needs to be done.
Is there a gap in the regulation? Is enough being done?
What we've seen today, I think the answer is clear.
With no quick economic recovery on the horizon, more Americans than ever may soon be buckling under the weight of lost jobs and crushing debt.
How much longer can you hang on?
It's pretty close. We're maybe a few months. It's very day by day.
In fact, the Snyders recently filed for bankruptcy. Harvard's Elizabeth Warren says cleaning up the credit industry will require fundamental reform, from the lower rungs of debt collectors right up to the banks and credit card companies that help fuel the debt epidemic in the first place.
Middle-class America is under attack, and it's under attack in part from a multi-billion-dollar industry that has figured out that you can just keep carving profits out of them. So long as the guys at the top can get a free walk, then you better believe the practices are going to stay just as dirty as they are right now.